Greetings, fellow soil stewards and garden enthusiasts. Welcome back to the Humus Heritage, where we dig deep into the living world beneath our feet. Today, we're unlocking one of nature's most underrated gardening secrets, a humble pantry ingredient that holds the power to transform your soil from lifeless dirt into a thriving, buzzing metropolis of beneficial life. We're talking about molasses, that dark, sticky sweetness that's about to become your garden's best friend. If you've ever wondered how to truly feed your soil, not just your plants, then you're in exactly the right place. Let's dive into the magic of prebiotic compost tea and discover why this simple ingredient deserves a permanent spot in your gardening toolkit. When we think about feeding our gardens, most of us immediately picture bags of fertilizer with their NPK ratios prominently displayed. But here's the paradigm shift that regenerative gardeners have embraced. We shouldn't be feeding our plants directly at all. Instead, we should be feeding the soil life that feeds our plants. This is where molasses enters the scene as an absolute game changer. Molasses is essentially concentrated plant sugar, a byproduct of the sugar refining process that retains a remarkable array of minerals and trace elements. When you add molasses to your compost tea, you're providing microbial food, a pure, readily available energy source that causes beneficial bacteria and fungi to explode in population. Think of it as throwing a feast for the microscopic workers in your soil, the ones responsible for everything from nutrient cycling to disease suppression. The beauty of molasses lies in its simplicity and accessibility. While the soil beneath our feet contains complex communities of bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and other organisms, these populations are often sluggish or limited by available energy. Molasses provides the missing link, the carbohydrate fuel that allows these beneficial organisms to multiply rapidly and get to work transforming your soil. Blackstrap molasses specifically brings additional benefits beyond simple sugars. As a byproduct of the third boiling of sugarcane, blackstrap retains significant amounts of calcium, magnesium, iron, and potassium, minerals that support both microbial activity and plant health. One critical distinction must be made here. Always choose unsulfured molasses for your compost tea. Sulfured varieties can actively harm the beneficial microorganisms you're trying to cultivate. The sulfur acts as an antimicrobial agent, completely defeating the purpose of brewing a biology-rich tea. Blackstrap molasses, preferably organic and unsulfured, should be your go-to choice. Creating a potent molasses compost tea isn't complicated, but attention to detail makes the difference between a mediocre brew and liquid gold for your garden. The foundation starts with water quality. Chlorinated tap water is the enemy of beneficial microbes. That chlorine kills bacteria, which is terrible for brewing compost tea. If tap water is your only option, fill your brewing container and let it sit uncovered for at least 24 hours, allowing the chlorine to evaporate. Better yet, use rainwater or well water. For a standard 5-gallon batch, you'll need about 2 cups of high-quality finished compost or worm castings. This is your inoculant, the source of the diverse microbial community you're about to multiply. The quality of your compost matters tremendously here. Well-aged, finished compost that smells earthy and sweet will contain a complex array of beneficial organisms. Place your compost in a mesh bag or old sock to make straining easier later and to prevent clogging if you plan to use a sprayer for application. Now comes the molasses, about 2 tablespoons per 5 gallons of water. Stir it thoroughly until completely dissolved. This sweetness is about to trigger a population explosion. Within hours of adding molasses, you'll notice the water beginning to change, especially if you're using aeration. Aeration is the secret weapon in compost tea brewing. While you can make compost tea without it by stirring frequently, adding an air pump with an air stone transforms your brew from good to exceptional. An inexpensive aquarium pump works perfectly for this purpose. The continuous flow of oxygen ensures that you're cultivating aerobic microorganisms, the beneficial species that improve soil health, cycle nutrients, and suppress disease. Without adequate oxygen, your tea can quickly turn anaerobic, creating populations of harmful bacteria that produce foul odors and can actually damage plants. Properly brewed aerobic compost tea smells earthy, sweet, and pleasant, like the forest floor after rain. Temperature plays a subtle but important role in brewing success. The ideal brewing temperature falls between 65 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Most gardeners find that brewing at ambient indoor temperature works perfectly. The brewing time typically ranges from 24 to 48 hours. At 24 hours, you have a robust population of fast-multiplying bacteria. By 48 hours, fungal populations have had more time to develop, creating a more balanced ratio that benefits most garden plants. The key is to use your tea immediately once brewing is complete, within a few hours at most. Once you stop aerating, oxygen levels drop and your beneficial aerobic organisms begin to die off. The moment your tea is ready, timing becomes crucial. You've just created a living solution teeming with billions of beneficial microorganisms, and they need to be applied while still active. Strain your tea through cheesecloth if you're using a sprayer to avoid clogging. The leftover compost solids aren't waste. Return them to your compost pile where they'll continue their work. Application methods fall into two main categories: soil drenching and foliar spraying. Soil drenching is the most common approach and, honestly, it's arguably the most beneficial for long-term soil health. Pour the diluted tea directly around the base of your plants, saturating the root zone. This introduces billions of beneficial organisms directly into the rhizosphere, that crucial zone of soil immediately surrounding plant roots. You can use the tea full strength or dilute it up to 10 parts water to 1 part tea. Many gardeners find that a ratio of 3 or 4 to 1 works beautifully. Foliar application, on the other hand, offers a different set of benefits. Spraying diluted compost tea on plant leaves creates a protective biological coating that can help prevent fungal diseases and pest issues. The beneficial microbes colonize the leaf surface, outcompeting potential pathogens. Apply foliar sprays in early morning or evening when temperatures are cooler, never in full sun. Now comes the exciting part, taking this knowledge from screen to soil. I challenge you to brew your first batch of molasses compost tea this week. Start small if you're hesitant. Mix up a gallon batch, apply it to a few plants, and observe what happens. Keep notes, take photos, and pay attention to how your plants respond. Become a citizen scientist in your own garden. As you experiment, don't keep your discoveries to yourself. Drop a comment below this video sharing your results, your questions, and your own tips for brewing the perfect compost tea. Your experience might be exactly what another viewer needs to hear. Subscribe to the Humus Heritage so you don't miss our upcoming deep dives into other natural soil amendments, from fermented plant juices to rock dusts to indigenous microorganism cultures. If this guide sparked something in you, please share this video with other gardeners in your life. Every garden transformed by biological soil management is a small victory for sustainability and health. Together, we're not just growing vegetables, we're cultivating a movement toward regenerative practices that heal the earth while feeding our families. Let's get brewing, and I'll see you in the next video with soil under our nails and hope in our hearts. Happy gardening!